afternoon, everyone, or greetings to you all. So, this is now us coming back again for our weekly market outlook. And just to give you a disclaimer, I don't think I'll be trading a bit of some JPY pairs for some time up until they line up in the right direction. So, for now, we're only looking at dollar pairs, which now we're going to start with dollar index, just trying to get to understand what is indeed happening with the dollar. So as you can see, just right here, we have a bit of a dollar structure, dollar low, and a daily high, just also label it in the right manner. And then we also have structure just inside. So I do believe that is indeed on a lower perspective, maybe lower time frame perspective, but this is also a daily lower high. Just understanding the daily structure before we even go as high as just before we go down the time frames. So this is also another daily high, but it is indeed just it's not even a daily high per se, it is a weekly high, but we're just taking it as a daily structure. So let me also just label it so that it can be seen that it is a structure on a higher time frame. So we just focus on 4H, trying to understand. Okay, sorry about that. Now we have this, just trying to go 4 hours to 4H. Just understanding that in the 4H structure, what is happening before we even have a bit of a sentiment or a bit of an analysis. So we can see that this was a higher low 4H and this was a higher high, but price broke and created a bit of a higher low. I don't know if it's when a lower low, I meant to say we had a lower high, price created a lower low, we had a lower high, price came back. Really, it wasn't much of a structure, but we had a lower low, and price created a lower high, and we had a lower low just right here, because what has been happening here was a 1 hour structure. So let me just plot these levels, these 4H levels, and then so that you can understand what is it that is happening currently. So I'm not gonna plot this, but I'm gonna plot this one. And obviously the next one is just up here, where price, no, I don't think that is a level, but it's a level to take note of. It's not really a lower high. But then we have this one, but this one just right here was a structural break. So we do have a bit of a break of structure. Where price is indeed showing that it did break above and created this, so we could possibly think or consider this as a 4H high, then possibly this is a 4H higher low, but we just have to wait and see what is happening. So now from here, I think it is a 4H structure for me to just include this, just see it as a confluence as to what caused the pricing to push into the upside. So I had a bit of a falling wedge, and price broke above the falling wedge, found a bit of a double bottom on daily, or a bit of some support on daily before pushing to the upside. But it did a bit fake out to the to act as if it's breaking below and then push to the upside. And now what are we seeing on 1H? Is literally the fact that we did have a push to the upside. Price had a 1H high low and also did have another fake out. So this is our 1H high low. Or in fact, instead of us wanting to use this, instead of us wanting to use this, you can easily use this to understand that it was a 1H high low. Now we also have that as a 1H higher high just up here, which is now the range that we're currently in. So from here, it's just a waiting game, not really much that can be done. We just have to wait and see what could possibly happen from here. What I'm anticipating is price to push a bit of a correction structure, break to the upside, and then we already have, so we would see that structure has been broken, and we could continue seeing price pushing to the upside. So from now, what we have is USDs start on daily once again. When I understand the fact that we have a daily double top, I'm not so sure, but I do believe it's a daily double top, but I'll just fix it now. It's a daily high, but this daily high has, as you understand, that it's not really much of a line, but it is a level. So this is our daily double top, where price just fell to break to the upside, but as you can see, we also have a bit of a structure just down here, but I think it's a 4H structure. So we have a bit of a daily high there and a daily low just right here, and I mean, I think that is enough. Currently we're just gonna go down the time frames and to see what is it that we're getting here. But as I said, we do have a bit of a support structure just right here, where price is indeed failing to break to the downside. So we could also consider that, but let's probably let us see what is 1H or 4H showing us. So this right here, this structure right here, let me just bring it to currently just right here. And as you can see that we were indeed pushing to the upside. So 4H higher low, then they had a higher high just up there with price started consolidating or correcting, and before then we went to the downside. So now this is a 4H double top. That is one of the first confluence that we have. So I love to just clearly mark my chart so that when I go down the time frames, I know that this is what's happening in this time frame, and this is what's happening in this time frame. So you can see this whole structure just right here is potentially a 1 hour structure that we are going to just see just right now. So price on a 4H is bullish, and we are rejecting the 4H higher low, and we starting to get to the upside. But what is it that we are seeing on the 1H structure? On the 1H structure, we are seeing that we have a bit of a falling channel, if I'm not wrong. It's a bit of a falling channel, and we could possibly also be, another person might see it as a falling wedge, but I'm looking at it as a falling channel. Or either way, it doesn't really make much of a difference. As you can see, just understanding the structure, what is happening, we had a bit of a high there, structural break, not even structural break, then we had a low, we had a lower high, a lower low, lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and then we had a lower low, double top, lower high, had a bit of a lower low, and the structure came back here, but this didn't break this, but so this is what broke this level. So now on our structure, what we have right here is this is a 1H lower high. So what I'm anticipating to see from this is price indeed just pushing to the upside from here. So what I'm gonna do is, I wanted to use the bar pattern, but wouldn't really make any difference. So I'm just anticipating price coming back down here and then pushing to the upside, and that is it on US dollars are. And yeah, so it is indeed lining up with our dollar index analysis. From there, now we're coming to USD CAD. Let me just clean everything up, zoom in just right here. As you can see on a daily perspective, we are indeed pushing to the upside. Another that I can see from here is that we have this as our daily high and we have this as here as our daily low. But also what you can see when you zoom in somewhere just right here, you will see that price is indeed trading here, but there's a support that has been recently been broken. A lot of people might just say as soon as we get this retest, we could just drop to the downside, but let us go down the time frames and understand what is really happening on a 4-hour and a 1-hour perspective. So this is our daily low, this is our daily high, and this 4-hour structure, which is this 4-hour structure for the downward movement, most probably we would be able to see more information on an upward movement. So on a downward movement, on an upward movement, we had this as our high, our low, our high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Price failed to break. There's a double bottom, new higher low. Price created a bit of a higher high there, a higher low here, and a higher high. And as soon as price broke here, this wasn't really my higher low, my lower high, because it's a 1H structure. But then yeah, just go with the downtrend now. So this was our lower high, lower low, lower high down here, a bit of a lower low and a lower high, but on a 4H structure. So saying the easiest thing I can see is this becoming our lower high, right? This is our 4H lower high, and I can't see anything. This to me is 1H structure than being a 4H structure. But a lot of people, if you do believe that this could fall into being a 4H structure, it's okay, you can just take it like that. But it would make sense for me if it is indeed a 4H structure when I go down to my 1H, if I do see a bit of a structure down here. So as you can see, what I was talking about, this is my 4H structure just up there, and then just this is my 1H structure just up here. So this is my 1H. My 1H lower high, and as long as price is trading below it, I'm not looking for any sells or any buys. I'm into say I'm still looking for sells. So from here, I'm just a bit, it's just not really ready to be traded currently, but you see that we are indeed gearing up into pushing into the right direction, or just following the dollar index. So what we can see is that if I do take it from here, then do take it to the downside, it doesn't really make sense, but yeah, just take it from here, and then also just having this, you will see this. So most probably what we can see from this one is price could potentially come back up here, drop, maybe affected by CAD, or price could indeed break to the upside, correct to the downside, and refine structure, and then we break to the upside. So currently it's a waiting game on USD CAD rather than just pushing. But if you could see, if we can focus on this kind of structure, we can just drop down to here, and instead of just taking it from up there, we can just take it just down here. So most probably, if we can, not really that I'm not trading any trend down breakout, but I'm trading structural breakout. So if we can find structural breakout between this, most probably let's just say something like this, giving this a lower high and then breaking to the upside, then we could start looking for buys and targeting this level right there. And the very best thing I can do is, when I'm targeting that level, is I'd be going for a psychological level, which would be my 28500. So no matter if the lower high is up there, as long as I will start looking to take profit as soon as price gets there. So for now, I'm just waiting to see what will happen in the next couple of days. Now we have GBP USD right here. GBP USD is daily bearish, right? Daily we are bearish. This is a 4H structure. Can't really focus on anything. It's a 4H structure. Let me just see. But we need to understand the fact that we did fail to break here, but we did also reject just right here, right? It's very nice what you're seeing, but I'm also just focusing on structure right here. So we had this going to the upside, higher low, higher high, bit of a higher low, double top. The price went down, bit of a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then this was our lower high, I meant to say, and then lower low. Price pulled back, lower high, down to the lower low. So daily wise, this is the structural, this is the structure we have, and another one that we have is just down here. So what is happening in between there is a 4-hour price movement rather than being a daily movement. So you see we have this just right here. Let me just not forget this, which is very important, as much as it's very close, but it is important. But I also have this one just here, which is also could have possibly forced the price into push to the upside, or it was a bit of a support that left as a support when price pushed to the upside. Sorry about that. Remember our daily lows. I'm just gonna fix that one, and then this is our daily high. And as you can see, that's the only thing we can do on daily structure. So we move down to 4H, try to understand what is it that is happening here. So in a 4H perspective, we had this is our lower high, lower low, lower high, and this is 1 hour structure. This is our lower low. So price failed to break below this and indeed created a bit of a double top on a 4-hour structure. But then now let us mark it and understand what is happening just right here. I'm just gonna do it, give it a bit of some space, just to make the color 2 be seen. But maybe on 1 hour we're gonna see something different, like body to wick accommodation. So we're gonna accommodate those body and wicks. So, and also now this is 4H. We are okay. This is where price did, but do understand that this right here is a 1 hour structure. So we are going to see it on a 1 hour time frame when we go down. So this just right here is a 4H. Sorry about that. The 4H lower high. Move down to a 1H, right? 1H structure. This is what we have. I'm still not changing this. I'm just having to just accommodate this right here. Let us start again. Price was going to the downside. This was our low. This is a higher low, a higher high there, higher low. I think it was a higher high, a bit of a higher low, a higher high. Not really a higher low, but because it didn't break, a higher low there, higher high, higher low, higher high. Bit of a double bottom, higher high, right? Then we did a double top there, and price came back just here, fell to break. When it fell to break, then we had this break, right? When we had this break, let me just also make you understand what is happening here. We had an ascending channel where price was indeed showing exhaustive patterns or exhaustive type of nature, whereby it's failing to push to the upside, because it did have this big momentum momentum slowed up until we had this thing. So we had this and still have this, and now what we are looking at is just here. So this is a break of structure. This is a break of structure, and we had our low. So when we had a bit of break of structure, we have our new 1 hour low. So it's a 1H lower low, and most probably this could be a 1H lower high. But when we had this is our low, there's no lower high. Possible lower high just up here. So I'm just going to just make it clear that it's a possible 1H lower high. But we're just waiting for price to break below. We do have support and resistance acting out just right here, where you see that price is indeed holding a bit, where the structure is holding the price from moving. As you can see, why price did fail to go to the downside. So this is a minor structure, which is 1 hour structure. What you're anticipating from here is price breaking, retesting, giving us that as a lower low, giving us as a lower high, giving us a new lower low, and then breaking, giving us a lower low, a lower high there, and then we could look to enter stop loss above and take profit down there, which would possibly be something like this. And that is it. Nothing crazy, nothing complicated. So that's it, that we are currently looking towards that or for that. So it would be something like this. But yeah. And now we move to Euro USD, similar to GBP USD and all the other USD pairs, but this one is a bit different. Just realized now it's a bit different. We have this. When you move to the left, realize that we had this, whereby it was a fake out, pull back in, and understandable, right? And we also had a bit of a double bottom there. So when you go back, there's not really much structure to the downside other than it is to the upside. So we have these two levels that you currently have to play in between. So price went up, daily lower high, daily lower low, done. Not gonna focus on anything else. Daily lower high, daily lower low. And what just happened here is a 4-hour structure. Move to 4H, understand what is happening here. When price was moving to the upside, 4H lower high, we had a 4H lower high, 4H lower low. Price created a bit of some sideways consolidation. Then we had a lower high, we had a lower low. Right, when you had a lower high and a lower low, what happened from there? We had a break of structure, right? So when we had a break of structure, price went to the upside. You can see we did have a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So for H, we still have structure just here holding from the price, right? Which is just down here. So this is a bit different, that because now we have to consider these other levels that are coming into play. It's not as easy as a lower time frame like GBP USD, where we don't have a 4-hour H level just near that. So this is a 4H higher low. Okay, we'll start seeing it when we go down the time frame, and we have this as a 4H higher high. But if we do, this is a 4H structure that we also need to take note of should price decide to continue to the upside, because in as much as we anticipating that DXY will be bullish, but we don't want to just now focus on that only and forget that each and every pair moves in its own unique way. But you can't just now decide that just because now dollar index is bullish, every pair will be bullish, every USD pair will be bullish, because you need to get into consideration that euro could also be bullish more than dollar. Then we could see price continue to the upside. So we have these levels and then the 4H levels that we also need to take note of at these ones just right here. So we have this again. Thank you. Then now when we move down to the 1H, because this is the 1H time frame structure just here, and then we follow it again. Once again, we had a high low, a high, higher low, bit of a higher high, higher low, higher high, a bit of a double bottom, higher low, higher high, higher low, and a bit of a higher high there. We did have a break of structure. This created our low, right? And when we created our low, this was not our lower high, because we just created a low. A lower high could be when we're creating a new low, because this is still our high, this is our low. And then from there, we're still having a 1 hour trading range in between these two levels just right there. So this is now a 1H high, not higher high, it's a 1H high. Then what we have here is a 1H low. So structure is just in a high and a low, which is most probably just a sideways movement rather than downtrend or an uptrend. But we do have the reason why I don't really wanna this would need a bit of some patience, and so that you just don't get trapped in the wrong direction. We have this right here, then we have structure right here, and then price continued the way it was moving. Now from here, there are two possibilities that could possibly happen. This price could just continue to the upside, correct, then from there we drop and giving us structure like this, or what you could see is price could in fact break to the upside in a correct impulse structure, correct down here, and then move to the upside. And I think that is it when it comes to our weekly analysis. Thanks, and please do stay tuned for more videos that we're going to be giving you. Thank you.